when the contract was awarded, and now materials and costs have changed, and also the scope of works of the 85 kilometers of the road has to be changed now from rehabilitation to reconstruction because it has deteriorated from when it was awarded 12 years ago. So council approved this.
Striking members of the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, JUSUN, and the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, PASAN, have walked out of a meeting convened by the Minister of Labour and Employment, Senator Chris Ngige. The meeting was Abuja to resolve the ongoing industrial action by the unions. However, the union representatives walked out of the venue in protest after waiting for about 2 hours without being attended to. Explaining the incident, the minister said that the meeting with JUSUN and PASAN was postponed to enable the federal government's negotiating team harmonize all issues from the memorandum of understanding reached at separate meetings with theirs and the 3 tiers of government. A statement issued by the Deputy Director of Press and Public Relations in the ministry, Charles Akwa, said they will ensure that the meeting with unions is backed by a memorandum of action which is implementable with timelines. Next, one strike that is not going ahead is the industrial action embarked upon by Petrol. Had reappeared at petrol stations in different parts of the country as a result of the action. However, the intervention of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation had led to its being called off. The strike has been suspended for 1 week so that the grievances expressed by the tanker drivers can be resolved. Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Melegari, assuring Nigerians that there is nothing to worry about as the situation will soon normalize. Mr. Gary's assurances followed his briefing President Muhammadu Buhari on the matter at State House, Abuja.
These skills will go away because there was an industrial action by petroleum tanker drivers against their employers, the National Association of Road Transport Owners, around their compensation package. And those issues were not resolved up to yesterday until we intervened to ensure that there's an amicable settlement between the parties so that they will have peace and then normal loading operations will commence from the depots. As I speak to you this moment now, loading has commenced in all depots in the country. Dispatches of trucks are ongoing in all depots in the country, and they have called off the strike for a period of 1 week so that enable us to intervene and find resolution. So there's really nothing fundamental that is happening now.
In other news now, the presidency has reacted to the growing wave of agitations for secession in some parts of the country. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, who said on Tuesday that President Muhammadu Buhari could neither be intimidated nor bullied into giving in to such threats of such agitators. He described the secessionists as mercantile agents who were only out for pecuniary gains and stressed that President Buhari would not open the vaults to share free money to anyone. Mr. Shehu spoke on Tuesday in Abuja at an event organized by the APC Professional Forum. He also dismissed calls for the convocation of a national conference, saying with an elected parliament in place, having such a conference was a non-issue. To security matters now, because the police command in Kaduna State has confirmed that Greenfield University, located on the Kaduna-Abuja highway, was attacked by gunmen on Tuesday evening. The command public relations officer Mohammed Jalige said on Wednesday in Kaduna that some of the students were abducted. Mr. Jalige, however, said that the number of students kidnapped had not been ascertained. He said security operatives had been deployed to the general area for search and rescue operation. Meanwhile, the State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, said one person was killed in the attack on Greenfield University in Kaduna State. Mr. Aruwan, who visited the school, disclosed that the victim was the staff of the private university. The commissioner assured residents that the military and security agencies were working round the clock to secure their release.
Yesterday, Tuesday, 20th April 2021 at around 8:30 p.m. Kaduna State Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs received a distress call from Greenfield University located at Kasarami village off Kaduna Abuja route. Troops of Operation Thunder Strike and Operation Puff Adder were mobilized to the location. After search and rescue, the school management and security agencies on the ground inform Kaduna State government that a staff of the university was killed here, and some students were also kidnapped. As you can see, we are going around the institution. Security agencies are also working in the general area. For now, this is the information that we can give, but be rest assured that we will keep you informed of other
Stakeholders are urging security agencies across the country to desist from stigmatizing survivors of gender-based violence. The consensus at a workshop in Abuja underscored the need for victims to be treated with respect. Correspondent Margaret Ogbo has details.
Gender-based violence received increasing attention in recent years, with so many cases being recorded daily across the world. Recent statistics from the Ministry of Women Affairs shows that over 3,000 cases were recorded in the last 1 year, with only 11 convicted. These stakeholders believe that if law enforcement agents apply empathy, patience, and perseverance in handling cases of gender-based violence, the menace can be easily combated.
Part of the standard operating procedures are issues around treating survivors who come to report these cases with respect. And then there is this issue of confidentiality of the information they make available. And of course, getting their informed consent through telling them all the options and pathways of referral that is available to them for them to get redress. So that when you properly inform them, they can now give you informed consent on how to proceed.
The bottom line is that victims are often treated unfairly by some security agents. This is why some of these stakeholders are personnel of this security and have been trained to handle cases of gender-based violence better.
Sometimes when they come to the stations, people tell them, oh, it's your boyfriend, you went there, did your parents know, you had, different kind of things. We are beginning to learn that we should handle them lovingly, sympathetically, and then being able to bring perpetrators to book.
Not everything is force. When you find a survivor now, you need to first point give that survivor a psychological support.
With the rising cases of gender-based violence in the country, a functioning justice system would be a great help. It would mean making statutes of law more friendly towards victims of gender-based violence. From Abuja, Margaret Ogbo, Silverbird News 24.
The Senate has called for the liberalization of Nigeria's cement policies to boost production and subsequently reduce the price of the commodity. The Right Chamber reached this decision following the consideration of a motion brought to the floor by Senator Ashiru Oyetola and 5 others during plenary on Tuesday. The lawmakers had during the debate expressed concern that if the status quo persists, the negative consequence of high prices on the economy would outweigh the benefits of producing cement locally. The Senate called on the federal government to provide more industrial incentives and industrial protection, such as offering concessionary loans in order to boost local production in Nigeria.
What is that significant rise in cement prices in the country and low purchasing power of Nigerians will result in low building construction standards and non-completion of land infrastructure work. Strongly believe that there's an urgent need to encourage more local production of cement to satisfy demands of Nigeria with a steady growth rate of approximately 3% per annum.
Considering the infrastructural deficit in this country, housing deficit, private and public houses deficit, unemployment in this country, cement appears to be a critical commodity that has effect on our national economy. It's therefore important that we pay attention to this commodity, like we pay attention to other commodities such as fuel, for example.
You're watching Newsblitz, reaching live from Abuja. We'll be back with more reports after the short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Next, the Executive Secretary of the National Board for Technical Education, Mohammed Bugaji, is calling on the federal government to prioritize and fund polytechnics to produce professional engineers and technicians. NBTE boss made this call at the inauguration of the governing councils for 46 tertiary institutions across the nation here in Abuja. Correspondent Aisha Olawi completes the story.
This debate has spanned centuries, differentiating between the curricula of polytechnics and universities. While the easy way, it seems, is to upgrade polytechnic to universities, the Executive Secretary of the National Board of Technical Education, Mohammed Bugaji, believes in an alternate solution. The federal government should prioritize and fund polytechnics rather than replacing them with universities.
And I'm appealing to the House Committee Chairman to please stop the process of converting polytechnics into universities. For us to reinvent the economy of Nigeria, we must fund technical and vocational education so that we can produce the correct skills that can move the economy forward.
Since the beginning of the week, governing councils for universities are being inaugurated. This time round, governing councils for 46 tertiary institutions across the country are being inaugurated. Again, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education, Sonny Echonu, is on hand to represent the minister, and he gave a few words of caution.
We expect governing councils to exploit new revenue sources, think outside the box, as they say, be creative and innovative, to improve the operations of the institutions while ensuring financial discipline.
The Executive Secretary for Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TET Fund, is pledging financial support for all the institutions.
Our budget for this year is in the region of 300 billion naira. So we are prepared to intervene in various critical sectors.
The debate continues, but what has become clear is that the federal government and stakeholders in the education sector will need to review the new penchant for upgrading polytechnics into universities. Polytechnics in providing quality practical education and producing technicians, engineers, and graduates in technical fields has never been in doubt.
The federal government has directed 4 ministries, departments, and agencies to begin implementation of the first ever standard operating procedure manual to boost efficiency, capacity, and competence of civil servants in the country. Head of Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemi gave the order on Tuesday after she formally received the document in Abuja. Andona India, who covered the event, now reports.
Standard operating procedures are designed to develop an effective system that complies with industry-specific regulations and standards. Head of Service of the Federation believes that this will significantly reduce operational errors and unwanted work variations.
We certainly cannot continue to do things in the old order and expect new results. To keep abreast, therefore, the civil service must continue to be dynamic and innovative. What we are witnessing here today, therefore, is a clear testament of our resolve to embrace new ways of doing things that promote the delivery of services in an effective and efficient manner.
The top civil servant shortlists 4 ministries, departments, and agencies where the initiative will take.
And in line with international best practices, the office decided to take the lead, and we've gone ahead to further approve and insist the immediate service-wide development of SOPs, starting with 4 selected MDAs as pilot. These MDAs are the Federal Civil Service Commission, Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, State House, and the Federal Ministry of Transportation.
The question then is, how fast can this digitized initiative be accepted at all levels of government?
Going to ISO 9001:2015, which is next step, and then digitalizing the entirety of the operation such that even if, for whatever reason, we cannot move around freely, it doesn't mean that you cannot access government's products and services. And even if we can move freely anyway, I don't need to come here to get my file moved. I should just get onto a website. I should be able to track what is happening with my file. I'm seen as a user of government service, and that time is coming.
The processes leading to the development of the 26 SOP manuals are rigorous and are expected to bring out the required best practices in the operations of the civil service. From Abuja, Aonduna Inga Silverbird, News 24.
You are still watching Newsblitz. We're bringing news from the foreign scene right after this. Stay with us. Opposition politicians in Chad have rejected the army's appointment of President Idris Deby's son to take over in the wake of his death. Mr. Deby, who had been in power for 3 decades, died at the age of 68 after being shot as he battled rebels on the front line. The rebels have also objected the move, saying Chad is not a monarchy. Muhammad Idris Deby Itno is also known as General Kaka, was in charge of the Presidential Guard and is to lead the country for 18 months until elections. U.S. President Joe Biden says the conviction of a former police officer in the killing of George Floyd can be a giant step forward in the march towards justice in America. White officer Derek Chauvin was filmed kneeling on the neck of Mr. Floyd, an African American, for more than 9 minutes. The death of Mr. Floyd has sparked mass protests against racism. Mr. Chauvin was found guilty on Tuesday of second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and manslaughter. And in sports, Juventus chairman Andrea Agnelli says the European Super League project cannot proceed as Inter Milan and Atletico Madrid join the 6 Premier League clubs in withdrawing. Agnelli was one of the chief architects of the breakaway plans, which involved 12 clubs from England, Spain, and Italy. But with 9 of the 12 teams pulling out, he accepts it cannot now go ahead. Atletico Madrid, AC Milan, and Inter Milan announced their withdrawal on Wednesday morning. And that's Newsblitz for today. Many thanks for watching. Do remember before we go that the coronavirus is a deadly disease. Please wash your hands with soap for at least 20 seconds regularly or use a hand sanitizer. Also wear a face mask when outside and maintain some physical distancing. Thank you once again. I'm Shegun Ojumu. From me and the rest of the team here, have a great evening. Bye-bye.